Actually, you've done out your own wonderful HQ, which I think we saw the last time you gave a presentation.
Yeah, a few more photos this time, a bit more detail on the building as well.
Excellent.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay, so I am here to discuss how our spray applied finishes can help with a building's environmental credentials, and how we use them throughout our new state-of-the-art HQ and product show home to lure staff back into the office by giving them a calm and well thought out space to feel proud of. But first, a little bit more about the site itself. So the Oscar Innovation Centre is a 16,000 square foot development set on a 1 acre plot of wasteland, formerly a cement works. It's made up of 6 warehouses and a main warehouse stroke office building, designed with a fabric first approach. So this means that the thermal performance has been maximised for environmental efficiency, which in turn minimises the running costs of the mechanical and electrical systems. By doing so, air tightness has been reduced, allowing the use of efficient mechanical ventilation systems that recover heat from the extracted air and transfer this to the supply air to minimise the heating load during colder periods. Electric heating and air conditioning systems are also installed throughout the workspaces. The air conditioning system also serves as a hot water generation module, which connects the hot water to the hot water cylinder. Heat recovered from the air conditioning systems in summer is used by hot water generation, the hot water generation module, providing very high efficiencies. So during winter periods, hot water generation is similar to that of a domestic air source heat pump. Electricity is offset by 164 square meters of large roof-mounted PV panels, which enable us to run the building, charge cars, and still put huge amounts of energy back into the grid. This assisted in achieving an A+ EPC rating, defined as net zero CO2 emissions, and also improves on the buildings of a similar nature. The plan is to install batteries to harvest energy over the weekends as we draw closer to the autumn. And I also found out late yesterday, so I haven't put it into the presentation, but the building has also achieved a Green Plaque Award as well. On the inside, SonaSpray has been applied onto the underside of the insulated roof sheets, improving the thermal performance further and acoustically treating and decorating at the same time. So to give you an idea of its thermal performance, 50 millimeters of SonaSpray is equivalent to around 40 millimeters of mineral wool. A warehouse with superb acoustics and a lower level of crystal clear sound negates the need for ear protection. Aside from the environmental cost of disposable PPE, the problem with ear defenders is that you can't hear fork trucks or vehicles coming, or warnings from colleagues about falling objects. Even without ear defenders, reverberant spaces tangle the sound so much that you still may not hear a vehicle coming or an important warning, or understand what they're saying. But of course, high levels of sound don't only cause safety issues in warehouses. Our study of 2,000 office workers found that 52% of employees had difficulty concentrating due to poor acoustics, and 43% were feeling irritated and unfocused due to it. For well over a third of workers, this led to delivering poor quality work, all this resulting in higher levels of stress and stress-related illness. And this is where SonaSpray range comes in. Applying the finishes throughout our office has created a calm and relaxing environment. Even the lobby benefits from a SonaSpray K13 ceiling in black with an ear sculpture carved from SonaSpray, creating an excellent low-frequency sound trap. As a perfect entertaining space, it was important to us that the Gibson Les Paul LP8 speakers also sounded great. They look great as well. One of our USPs is our new Oscar Acoustics SonaSpray Training Academy, where potential sprayers spend their time studying and taking exams before being allowed into the top secret practical training room. This means that they're experts by the time they get on site and not practicing on your project. Another USP is how seriously we take the environmental side. Our products are made from fire-rated recycled paper and water-based adhesives, achieving top marks for our element of the BREEAM on your project. LEED, SKA and Living Building Challenge as well. So that means there's no items within the products on the red list. And whilst we didn't need it, we thought we'd complete the set by getting Cradle to Cradle as well. Our journey to net zero started off some years ago by working towards and then becoming ISO 14001 certified. So I haven't got the bug for it. We continued to make changes and are very proud to announce that Oscar Acoustics is now independently certified as being carbon neutral as a company. And this is for the entire operation, including the transportation of all the products. Emissions of the products used within public spaces are also just as important. So our products are all M1 classified, which is the best you can get for low emitting building materials. California Department of Public Health seems to be creeping in over here. We've got the GreenGuard certification, and we're certified as gold. And then you've got BREEAM and LEEDs versions as well. So how did we lure those back who previously preferred working from home? Well, great coffee for a start, but also by knowing the business inside out and how we would use the building designed and built especially for us. There's also a lot of fun details throughout, and the staff are still discovering them a month after moving in. After the grand opening party, I saw lots of LinkedIn posts by our customers taking selfies of themselves with the peacock in the upstairs toilets and the pelican in the downstairs. Even the ceilings in the toilets have our plaster smooth acoustic plaster finish set into our Oscar Evo blade knife edge trim to give a nice, elegant, razor sharp finish. The feedback from the staff and guests has been everything I hoped for. So I'd like to give a big thanks to Urban and Royal Architects, who are great to work with. Also our main contractor, WW Martin, and our project managers, Ballhall, as well. The result is very, very happy staff that enjoy coming back to work. And here's some of us picking up Subcontractor of the Year at the most recent National Building Awards. You can see we were very chuffed with that. So please do book a tour to come and see us, and all our finishes in situ. So we're near Rochester in Kent, about half an hour from London on the train. We've also got plenty of parking as well. By all means, bring your clients, as it's often much easier for them to imagine what their project's going to look like if they can see the finishes in person rather than up close in a sample box. And don't forget, great coffee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ben. I love the way that in your new HQ, you've actually kind of incorporated your products absolutely everywhere as much as possible. It kind of reflects a certain amount of pride, but also the idea of a very intelligent approach to marketing your own brand, really, you know, that it is everywhere. You can point to anything and you can kind of see it. And as you say, it's very different seeing something in place and seeing, you know, just having something provided in a small box that gets sent over to you, which tells you what it might be like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've even got a finish in the storeroom and the fire escape corridors as well. I wanted absolutely every finish on show, so people just could come and see everything.
Does it feel like do you think you've overspecified it? Just as a question, do you think we could have used a bit less, or do you actually just think no, it's everything in the right place, right position, right use?
Hugely, yeah. It is everywhere. I mean, we've got one of the most expensive, or not expensive. We've got one of the flashiest ceilings in any toilet, I think, going. You know, we've got our smoothest acoustic plaster in there, as I mentioned, and then that goes into this razor edge trim that we created. So whilst the acoustic plaster in this case is 27 millimeters thick, and then you've got 12 millimeters of plasterboard and all the metalwork above, it actually gives the illusion of being as thin as a sheet of paper. So really elegant. It's
Yeah,
great.
Go Blade, we've seen a couple of examples of that one. It does give a very fine edge, that's for sure. I mean, you've spoken about the whole kind of like M1 classified, your BREEAM, your LEED, the SKA, cradle to cradle. How important was it for you as a company to ensure that, I mean, has that been the driver for you? I mean, has guidance and regulation been kind of forcing the way that you view, or is it a different kind of approach you had as a company to thinking you were going to over kind of go beyond what regulation demands? I just kind of, because you've spent a lot of money on this new HQ. So
Mm.
clearly you've thought from the very outset about how you might incorporate, solar panels, how you might make it, good operationally in terms of its carbon. How much has that been a driver? Was it regulation or was it just actually you as a company?
So we got a head start on this. So we were telling people that the product was made of recycled paper way before anyone cared. I think one contractor actually said so when we told him years back. We've been doing this, I think, nearly 26 years. We pushed on, and now people do care. So by that point, we had most of the certifications in place anyway. And then over the years, it's really important to us to fill every single gap to make sure that you can get full BREEAM points for our elements of the works. So we're really doing our part. As a building, very important. So I mentioned we've been awarded with the green plaque. I'm going to find out more about that in the coming days, but that was fresh news yesterday. So yeah, nice to hear.
I mean, you mentioned there that 50 millimeters of your thermal spray was equivalent to 40 millimeters of mineral wool. So you're kind of making the connection there between thermal efficiency and the idea that you can have a thermally efficient layer there, which also has really great acoustics and ability to be, effectively tactile as well, which a mineral wool probably wouldn't be, as a finished surface.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that part of the argument is actually you get both thermal and acoustic performance kind of bound into one product?
You can do. So it depends what you need to achieve acoustically and depends on the space. So a typical office or you could need as little as 12 millimeters of acoustic finish, which is going to give some thermal performance, but not a lot. In things like warehouses, you then increase the material depth. So actually warehouses and sports halls as well, ideal for that. So it's good to have a slightly thicker material depth to absorb the sound and get the reverberation time down. But these are the sort of spaces that can really benefit from thermal performance as well. We've done projects, for instance, an area in the Science Museum in London where we sprayed about 80 millimeters thick. So that was for acoustic performance and it's superb. But actually we were there providing the extra thermal performance they needed for that space.
We've got a question here from Richie who says, are your products used in residential projects? I'd imagine so on the ceilings more than on the walls.
Yes. So whilst, even the acoustic plaster, it appears as conventional plaster, but actually you can damage it because they do have soft backings. And actually they're still made of paper, but they have to be to allow the sound to penetrate. I've got the acoustic finishes in my house. My dad, he was having his dining room redone and he took up the carpets, and I was having a chat with my mum over one side and the builder and the structural engineer were talking on the other side. And we couldn't understand what each other was saying just in this dining room. So we put in our acoustic plaster and now it's got tiled floors and, we can have 12 people all sat around the table, all having a conversation and hear everything that's said crystal clear. So it makes a huge difference in residential as well. And we also had Sevenoaks Sound and Vision say that when they had our acoustic finish put in one of their test rooms, that it made their £5,000 speakers sound like they should. So there's all these people spending, you know, upwards of £30,000 sometimes on these expensive hi-fi systems. But if the space you're putting them into is reverberant, they sound awful. So you need to think of the space itself as well as the sound system.
We have a question here. Yes or no, is the material available outside the UK?
It is all across the world. Yeah.
Michael's asking, how does SonaSpray improve a building's environmental credentials other than improving thermal performance?
So I mentioned allowing us to get full BREEAM points. That's a big thing. So the products are recycled paper, cradle to cradle now as well. You know, we've gone for the full set.
Oh, an interesting question from Lauren. She's saying, are your products suitable for use in heritage buildings where fabric breathability is of higher importance to avoid trapped moisture? Oh, that's a good one.
Yes. So yeah, perfect. So our products have been used in grade 2 and grade 1 listed buildings, and we can provide a list, including Hampton Court Palace, actually. We can provide the list to help in you getting that through heritage planning. Now, all our products are inherently air porous to allow them to be acoustic, and so they are breathable. And that's why actually the SonaSprays are great when used in swimming pools as well. So, you know, providing, and we also did it in an ice rink. So providing you've already got some thermal treatment there, what you don't want is a space that suffers from moisture buildup on the surface. We can then add to that, and it breathes moisture in and exhales it as the levels increase and decrease.
Oh, well, good question. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you very much indeed, Ben.
Thank you very much.
We have to move on.